Something happened. Jamaal Bowman was called out during a meeting, and the gentleman who did that, his name was Jose Vega, and I'm incredibly proud of what Jose did, because he is actually, this is him holding his politicians accountable, whether they're a progressive politician, whether they're conservative, whether they're neoliberal, whatever. He's holding him accountable. And this is what all of us should be doing. And Eric was actually the one that pointed this out before. When they have these free town halls and they come back into your district, usually they're in the evenings, because they assume everybody's off work at that time. They don't think about the fact that some people work in third shift, but whatever. Usually these are in the evenings. You can see, I believe I usually find out about these via email, but if you follow like your city or your state's site, particularly your county as well, you'll hear about these announcements that a certain representative of your district is going to be holding a meeting or whatever. If you have the opportunity to go to those meetings, they're usually free. Definitely do so that you can voice your opinion and hold them accountable. This is one way that you can do that. You put them on blast in front of their constituents. And since you are one of their constituents, yes, you have a lot of standing. You have a lot to say. And he did that. So I want to give him kudos for that. Shout out to Jose. And I'm going to play this video. And I want you to hear what Jose has to say. And then there's something else I want to show you after this to go along with that as well. So again, shout out to Jose. And go ahead and hit that like button, guys. That helps me with the algorithm. Let's hear what Jose had to say.
Do more on climate. We could do more on lowering prescription drug costs. We could do more on gun control. We could do more with regard to the Black agenda. We can do more.
Congressman, you're a hypocrite because you are funding neo-Nazis in Ukraine. They are wearing the Black Sun symbol, the same symbol that the Buffalo shooter used, the same symbol that the person who almost killed the vice president in Argentina used.
Thank you so much.
You say you want to advance the Black cause, but you are funding the same people who kill in the name of white supremacy.
This is the foundation. This is the foundation of our democracy, freedom of speech.
You choose to fund Nazis.
Stick around and I will have a conversation with you right after the end, but let me get to the conclusion. Stick around. I promise. I got you. The foundation of our democracy is freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. So we appreciate that, and brother, I will talk to you at the end.
I want to point out something in this clip here. We're going to pause in between because I want you to watch the facial expressions of some of the elders sitting in the front. And I want to make a point with this. Here we go.
Do more on climate. We could do more on lowering prescription drug costs. We could do more on gun control. We could do more with regard to the Black agenda. We can. There's always what we can do more of. We can do this, we can do that, but they don't. They don't. We're always last. And when they do give us something, it's a little bit, it's just the crumbs. Just enough so they can say, come back and vote for me again. Can do more.
Congressman, you're a hypocrite because you are funding neo-Nazis in Ukraine.
Where's the lie? Where's the lie? Look at the expression on Jamaal Bowman's face. Look at him. I can't believe this mofo just called me out in front of all these people. I can't believe. Look at him. What can he say? Can he refute that? No, it's true. It's true. This is how you give a fair critique, because this isn't an opinion. Jose isn't yelling out in front of the crowd about an opinion that he has. Jose is yelling out in front of the crowd about something that's a fact. So what can Jamaal Bowman say? Can he push back on that? No, he can't, because that's something that he actually did. That's important. You hit them with the facts. You hit them with the receipts. Can't push back on that.
They are wearing they are wearing the black sun symbol, the same symbol that the Buffalo shooter used, the same symbol that the person who almost killed the vice president in Argentina used.
Thank you so much.
Again, where's the lie? What can Jamaal Bowman say to that? Can he say, sit down, that's not true? No, it's true. So that was very smart of Jose. Very smart.
You want to advance the black cause, but you are funding the same people who kill in the name of white supremacy.
This is the foundation.
For the Bronx?
Excellent. Very, very well said. He said, you say you want to fund and support the black cause, right? But you voted to fund the same people that actually are the oppressors. How does that make any sense? You voted to give money to them instead of giving money to black people, people in the Bronx. He had every right to say what he did. He said, where's the $50 billion for the Bronx? That's a good question. Where is it? Where is it? Look at the expressions on their face. This gentleman right here, notice how he looks kind of surprised. Look at who's in the front. See, this is something that I've pointed out before in reference to the political space that we have in this country. A lot of times when these politicians have these meetings, who is usually in the audience? It's usually older people. You can see the same thing if you go to a town hall that Jim Clyburn does, by the way. Usually not many younger people there. It's usually older people. They're believing this lie that Jamaal Bowman has been telling them. They really think this gentleman here, his facial expression, he really thinks Jamaal Bowman's doing the best that he can. So when this gentleman stands up and makes this statement, he's just like, what is happening? What? He's surprised. He may not even heard that until that night. He may not have heard that opinion about the funding for Ukraine until that meeting that night, especially if he's only been watching mainstream media. And let's be real, most older people, my parents included, only will watch mainstream media. So he is shocked. You see this? Look at who's in the front. There you got Hakeem Jeffries sitting up here at the table. We're going to call him out in just a second, though. But this needed to be said.
This is the foundation of our democracy, freedom of speech.
You choose to fund Nazis.
Stick around and I will have a conversation with you right after the end, but let me get to the conclusion. Stick around. I promise. I got you. The foundation of our democracy is freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. So we appreciate that, and brother, I will talk to you at the end.
And you want to know why they couldn't push back on that? Because they know it's true. You want to know why Hakeem Jeffries in particular did not push back on that? Because he definitely knows it's true. In fact, we're going to get into that because this thread goes on. Let's dive into it. So that was Jose talking about how he confronted Jamaal Bowman. Let's go on. He goes on to say, ironically, the other congressman who was present, Hakeem Jeffries, also knows about the Nazis in Ukraine because he wrote a letter about it to Congress. What? How many of you knew that? How many of you knew that before tonight? Or if you saw this tweet before tonight's show, how many of you knew that? Because I didn't know that. Let's go on. He goes on to say, the letter that Hakeem Jeffries wrote has been taken down from the announcement page. I need help retrieving it. Now, he's right. If you go here and you click on that page, because I did this, it says click here to get the letter. When you click here, wait for it, nothing happens, right? But don't worry about it, because I found that letter. Now we're going to get into this because this is something that I want everyone to see. Now, there are a couple of things I want to point out on this letter I want you to pay attention to. This letter came from Ro Khanna's office. You see this? Okay. This letter is dated April 23rd, 2018. Years before Russia invaded. Let's go on. I got to read this to you. Now, this says, the Honorable John Sullivan. Dear Deputy Secretary Sullivan. I'm going to zoom in because the text is a little, wee. Can it fit? Yeah. Because I want everybody to see this. We write to express our dismay about recent reports of state-sponsored, I got to be careful saying that, distortion and denial taking place in Europe, particularly Poland and Ukraine. These developments are unacceptable, especially given today's global surge of anti-Semitism. We urge you to join us and human rights organizations in standing against anti-Semitism, xenophobia, and all forms of intolerance by calling the Polish and Ukrainian governments to unequivocally reject, I gotta be careful saying that on here, but you guys see the word, distortion, and the honoring of Nazi collaborators and fully prosecute anti-Semitic crimes. Again, I want to remind you, this letter was written 2018. Let's jump down here. While the legal questions and historical context of Ukraine and Poland differ, developments in both countries are a cause for concern. You see that? You hear that? Wait till you see who signed this letter. Now it goes on. Earlier this year, Warsaw passed a law making it a criminal offense to state that Poland participated in the H. The law, which was rightfully criticized by the U.S. State Department, the Israeli government, and others, was accompanied by a surge of anti-Semitic remarks. The Israeli embassy in Warsaw reported being flooded by anti-Semitic vitriol, while members of the Polish Jewish community expressed concern at rising tensions in the wake of the law. Now, it goes on to say more about Poland, but I want you to see what they say here about Ukraine. Ukraine's 2015 memory laws went even further by glorifying Nazi collaborators and making it a criminal offense to deny their heroism. I can't highlight it because it's a thing. You guys see this? Ukraine's 2015 memory laws went even further by glorifying Nazi collaborators and making it a criminal offense to deny their heroism. However, unlike the Polish law, this move by the government in Kyiv has received little to no public response from the United States. The groups and individuals extolled by Ukraine, including Nazi collaborators, Stepan Bandera, Roman Shuklik, I can't pronounce his last name, sorry, and the Organization of Ukrainian Nationalists, as well as the Ukrainian Insurgent Army. The paramilitaries and individuals in some case collaborated with the Nazi and bear responsibility for the murder of thousands of Jews, Poles, and other ethnic minorities between 1941 and 1945. In particularly troubling, that much of Nazi glorification in Ukraine is government sponsored. Examples include the 2017 pro-UPA campaign conducted by the Ukrainian Institute of National Memory. The naming of streets after Bandera and Shukrek by the Kyiv City Council. And it goes on. There's more. State-sponsored revisionism in Ukraine is accompanied by other forms of anti-Semitism, as Israel's Department of Diaspora Affairs pointed out in its annual report on anti-Semitism. The whitewashing of these Ukrainian heroes has coincided with the increasing incidence of anti-Semitism across Ukraine. So, that being said, why are all these politicians now today trying to pretend like this is not a problem? Why are they trying to pretend like, oh, it's only just a small portion of them that are like Nazis or whatever? Do you see this letter? Let's go on. Let's go on. Now, someone said my voice is, can you guys, I can hear myself just fine. Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, I can hear myself just fine. Whoops, or that's echoed. Okay, now we're going to go on. Okay, thanks, Eric. There's more to this. This portion right here. This is a plea. As members of the U.S. Congress, we have steadfastly supported Poland and Ukraine's quest to build democratic nations. However, we are deeply concerned that the rise of anti-Semitism and the denial of the past will stymie these countries' democratic development and prevent Poland and Ukraine from becoming free and open societies for all their citizens, Jewish and non-Jewish alike. The development in these two countries, while particularly egregious, must also be taken in the context of a rise in glorification of the H-era officials throughout Europe, including Hungary, Slovakia, Romania, and the Baltic states. This is a troubling trend that must elicit a strong response from our government. And there was no strong response. Therefore, we respectfully request that you respond to our serious concerns with a detailed description of what actions the State Department is taking to work with the Polish and the Ukrainian governments and other governments in the region to combat the rise of anti-Semitism and the H denial and distortion. This letter, and it goes on, look who signed this letter. First person on the list is Ro Khanna. There's more people. I'll point out some of the names that you may know. I'll scroll down solely so you can see here. There's Pramila Jayapal, Jamie Raskin. Let's go on. Eleanor Holmes, James McGovern. You see this? There's Ted Lieu. He's the weakest of the progressives on the Progressive Caucus. Even he signed it. And going on, Yvette Clarke, Sean Patrick Maloney, Sheila Jackson Lee, Tulsi Gabbard, Debbie Wasserman Schultz. You guys see this? And there is Hakeem Jeffries. That's why I told you that Hakeem Jeffries knew about it. That's why he didn't say anything when Jose called out Jamaal Bowman and Hakeem Jeffries was sitting right there at the table with them. That's why he didn't say, what could he say? He already knew. He knew back in 2018 when he signed this letter. And there's a couple other people here, Barbara Lee, Matt Gaetz signed this letter. Isn't this something? So, and I believe that's the end there. You see that? Marsha Fudge. So I just want to remind you again that this letter was written April 23rd, 2018. If any of those politicians are your representative, I highly recommend that you call their office or you email their office and ask them about this letter. Those same people knew about this in 2018. They were so concerned to the point where they decided to write a letter and sign it about the anti-Semitism. They were that concerned about it. But all of those people who were still present, not Tulsi, she's not a member anymore, but all those people who are still present, all the Democrats anyway, they all have voted to send more money to Ukraine, knowing what they knew back then. And the next person who interviews Ro Khanna, if you see this live stream, the next person who interviews Ro Khanna, ask him about this letter. Because I wish I would have known about this before I interviewed him, because I would have asked him about this letter. So there you go. So all of them pretending like the Nazi issue isn't a real issue. All of them that have made these excuses on mainstream media saying, oh, it's only a very small percentage. If that were the case, then why did they feel the need to tell the US government to intervene? Why? Why? Now do you believe me when I tell you this is all a game? I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Just, if you're in Hakeem Jeffries' district, definitely ask him, what's up with this letter? I did want to show you that search really quick, because I did promise you guys I would show you how we're pushed down in the algorithm. So I did this test with Nick. Let me share my screen. This is how I know we're suppressed in the algorithm. Watch this. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for you guys. Whee! All right, we're going to do a search for Nick. Right? So I'm going to put in Nick's name. We're going to search. All right, watch this. Now I typed in Nick's full name, Nick Cruz. Now, what should happen is any video that has his name in the title, those videos should appear first. Notice Bad Faith appears first, but that's only because that video posted today. When I did this yesterday, that did not work because that video wasn't posted. So that video posted today, right? That's good. That's independent media. Here's the problem. As you scroll down, I'm going to show you how long it takes for you to get to RBN, which is Nick Cruz's channel. That's all of us, right? So you see all this stuff. You'll see the other Nicholas Cruz, which isn't even the way that his name is spelled. See what all comes first? This is all corporate media. Look. More corporate media. I'm still scrolling. I don't know how far down. Okay. Then we have The Hill when Nick appeared on Rising. Again, that's corporate media. You see what I'm saying? Again, we have not reached RBN yet. Let's keep going. Corporate. Now we get to RBN. You have to scroll all the way down to get to RBN. Now look at the video. The title is Nick Cruz versus Destiny Debate. Did not put Nick Cruz's name in the search engine. That video where he debated Destiny which has over 7,000 views, and that's on our RBN channel, that video should have appeared at least in the top 3 when you searched for his name. That's how I know we're suppressed. You see what I'm saying? That's how you know. That don't make no sense. That's his name, the correct spelling and everything. This video should have been all the way, how far we had to go up? All the way up here. It should have been all the way up at the top. That's how it works. And someone mentioned in the chat, Sabby sign out, it'll be worse. That's true. I was signed in. So if I'm signed out, it's probably even worse. That's how they do it. They push us down, independent media down, and they push corporate media up.